Hey everyone, it's Meridy here today, and I'm back with Not Just for Boys Kit Club to show you my 5th process video using our Gumballs and Swizzle Sticks Essentials and Limitless kits this month. And I'm gonna jump right in. These are gonna represent my journaling strips at the end. I have my trim that came with this month's kit, along with some baker's twine that I pulled out of my stash here because it looks really good with this kit. I have my Gumballs and Swizzle Sticks sequin mix and pearl mix. This Color Vibes came with the kit, and then I grabbed a couple other sprays that I thought coordinated really well. I still have some of my buttons left. This is one of the stencils. I have quite a few pieces of embellishments and ephemera in here, so I'm gonna be getting in there. My color swatch that we made on my unboxing video, if you're interested in that, you can watch the unboxing video this month and you'll see that. I've got my little mini alphabet stamp sets that are new at Not Just for Boys, and my stitching stamp set, stitching and scribbles and splatters stamp set. This stencil came in this month's kit, and I've got my alphabet that came in this month's kit. So I'm gonna put all these things kind of off to the side so I can access them when I need to. I am going to scrapbook this picture of my son. It was his kindergarten picture. His kindergarten school picture. I'm gonna trim the bottom because it's a little bit wonky there. So now that's all fixed. Okay, and it's just one picture that I've got. So I did pull out a bunch of ephemera that matches it because it's just one picture. So I've got a ruler, the school days, best students, some flags, this little frame, A+ student, more flags and tags, problem solver, school rules, and school library. And this little star in here. So I've got all of that ephemera. And then of course I have my school theme paper, which is just red herringbone on the B side, but it's cut aparts on the A side. And I do think that I want to use one of these cut aparts probably on my page. Let's see. He didn't take the bus. I think I like this little printing one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out from this cut apart sheet because I really like that one. And then maybe I'll use a couple of others or some of the red from the back. I just like some of this B-side, but I just don't know yet. So I'm just gonna set that one off to the side. And I'll set these over here so I can grab them if I need them. I have this great star paper, which is really good for school layouts. So I could use this as the background of this layout, but I don't think I'm going to because I really want to use my stencils here. And I had an idea ahead of time. I don't know if I just want to use the stencil that says K for kinder, or if I want to spell out kinder, like K-I-N-D-E-R. If I could even find the K here, it would be a miracle. Okay, here we are. I think I want to spell the whole word kinder because since I only have one picture, there is room to spell out a 6-letter word here. So I'll grab all the letters for kinder right now, and I will be right back. Okay guys, I have the letters for kinder. I'm just even gonna see K-I-N, if they even fit across the whole page. D-E-R. Okay, so they will fit down the side of my page. I was just making sure it wasn't too long. And I had this idea that I could do the word kinder. I know this is like working way ahead. Let me show you what else I have pulled. I don't think I'm gonna use this paper because I think I'm gonna need white paper to be the background of this layout. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move that off to the side and show you the other scraps and things that I have pulled for this layout before I keep going with my title, because my brain is all over the place right now. So I have a few different colored scraps. This is the soda pop lid on the other side. This is just a variety of scraps and things. And I am gonna get to the scraps and things after I get this title done, because I think this title work is gonna be a main point of my layout. And again, I can add some of these if I need to after I get this title work done. So my idea for my title, I have two ideas, and I'm not sure if one of these is gonna work. So I wanna put kinder, I kind of wanna put it down the whole right side of my layout, like vertically down there. I know these aren't spaced out correctly, but let's just pretend for now that they are. So I kind of want to make it go like that, and then I can have my picture be on this area. I would probably get it more so it's centered exactly, you know, down the side. And then I thought it would be really cool to take these alphas and write kindergarten with them, like across the top of the word kinder. But I am kind of afraid that that isn't going to show up well. So I'm thinking my other option might be if I like trace the top half of each letter and then move the stencil down and trace the bottom half so that there's like a break in the middle of the letters. And then I can put the word kindergarten right through the middle. So I'm gonna see on a scratch piece of paper how that looks. And if it looks good, I'm gonna come back and do it, and I'll show you how to do it on my real paper. But I'm gonna turn off the camera a minute and play, and so you don't have to watch me playing, because that might get boring. Alrighty guys, I tried a couple of things here and I came up with how I'm going to do my title, and it is a little bit complex, but I think I can teach you how. So I want my title to go down the side like this, but for the sake of working, I'm gonna do it this way, and then I'll just turn the paper at the end. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, I know my letter D, if I can find it, is towards the center of this. It's towards the center of my page. So I'm gonna start with the letter D right here. And the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna take my Distressed Oxide fossilized amber ink, and I'm just gonna ink the top half of the letter D. Okay, I'm not going to ink all the way down, and I kind of like that it does like that little ombre effect right there. And then I'm going to move the letter D down so that there is a white gap in between this top half and this bottom half that will fit my letters. And I'm just going to ink the bottom half. And wherever you do your first letter, that's the same spacing that's going to be between every other letter in your word. So this first letter is the only one that you have to try to make it work nicely, because everything else, you're going to line it up against this. So there's my D. Next, I can make my E. I'm going to make it in quite the same way. I'm going to ink the top half, including the middle horizontal part of the E, like this middle one. And I'm going to move it down just the same, down just as far as I did my D, and ink up this bottom half. I'm going to make sure not to get this center one in there, because then it will have two center lines, and I don't want that. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the R, except I know that my word, just from practicing this on another piece of paper, I know that my word does not fill the whole gap. I'll show you what I mean in a minute, but basically I am not going to get any of this part of the R inked up right now, because, but I am going to ink down this whole side. But the problem is I want this to be as tall as the rest of the letters, so I'm gonna have to move it down a little and ink up this little section. The good thing is this ink blends really well, so you can't really tell that I picked it up and moved it. And then for the line of the R, I want it to go all the way from here to the bottom, but this is short. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a W because it's that same shape as the R. And I am going to, well, let me punch out the rest of the thing so I can make sure it's lined up. Okay. I'm gonna make this line of the W be the little standing leg of my R. Okay, I know that's kind of confusing, but do you see how it completes the R? And then kinder, K-I-N. So I'm gonna come here with the N and do the same type of thing, only the top half, and then the bottom half. And you guys will see where I'm going with this. Okay, the I is gonna be the same way. I'm gonna speed up through the I because you know I'm just gonna do the top half and then the bottom half. Okay, but the letter K is gonna be similar to the R. So I'm only going to do the top half of this K. I'm gonna move it down so it's even. And I'm only gonna do this line. Because of course, I couldn't have a simple letter here like an F that I could just extend the line, or an I. No, I have to have the K and the R that have the little legs on them. And then with this one, I'm just, again, getting this one leg of the K, and I'm gonna use this W. And if you need to block parts off so that you don't accidentally get ink over there, you can use a sticky note to mask it off. So I just make sure I'm just getting the leg. So now it says kinder, but I've got this open space through the middle, and that is where I'm going to put the letters kindergarten. Okay, but one more thing that I'm going to do, because I still think this is slightly hard to read. Okay, so I'm going to outline each letter as well with a marker. And I'm just going to use my Sharpie gel pen and just outline it in black. And I have to just remember on this letter K, I'm only going down to a certain point, because then it stops and uses the part of the W. And I'm only outlining the top portion and the bottom portion of the rest of the letters, because I want that open break in the middle where my word kindergarten goes. I'm gonna move it down a little bit more. And if all of this isn't for you, by all means, do not do all of this. You could just stencil the word kinder solid just across and be done with it, not even worry about using these little letters. I was just trying to think of fun, different ways to use this stencil. So that is why I tried this. Okay, and then I can write my word kindergarten right in the middle, right there. So that is going to be the title of this page. And I'm going to build everything else around it. I've got my picture here, and I've got all of these little goodies that I need to use. And I also can map my picture on multiple layers. And I could make this just like a straight collage of of these. That might look kind of neat. We'll see how it works with the spacing. Okay, I kind of don't like where I'm going with this, so let's try this over. I can layer up my picture with a few layers of paper under there. And maybe just embellish it up around. I don't really want to cover any of his picture up. Maybe just, I don't mind overlapping a little like that, but I don't want to cover it up. I think I need to layer up this paper on a few scraps before I try to place anything else around it. So let's do that first. Let's see what's in here. I like that green. I really love this in there somewhere. I'm just gonna cut out one of these squares and use this as a layer in there, because that's a good size. And I think I'm gonna cut this down. So this is 4 inches wide and 5 1/4 inches tall. And again, guys, these are just like cutting down scraps and using them. I would really like to use some of this side. So I'm gonna cut a 2-inch strip off of the top. So it's 2 inches wide and 10 1/2 inches long. And maybe I can use it. I cut it the exact length of the word kinder. That might look good. So let me mark this. So the length that you cut this is just going to depend on how long your word is, if you have a title over there. Okay, I am going to trim a tiny bit off the top of my picture so that it sits nicely in that green frame. But I'm going to mat my picture on white first. And then I'll mat it on the green. Then I'll add it to this somehow. Okay, this is giving me a little bit of a better thing to work with down here. And then I can come in with a couple of these. I have a lot that I pulled to work with, and I don't need to work with all of them. Okay guys, I'm gonna go through some of these little pieces here and see if there's anything else I can use on this layout. Okay, found a few more things. Let's see. Do we need... Okay, I think I've got this down to where I like it. I'm gonna see if I need to cut any of these little labels. So I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut them out and see where I can set them. All right, so I have these 3 labels. I think the red one does look pretty sharp over there. Not so much for the blue one, but I bet the blue one, nope. But I do think this red one looks sharp right over there. Okay, so I will put that. And I'm gonna go off camera, adhere all this down. I am not going to adhere these 3 tags because I think I wanna cut a thin border off of the sides of this layout and mat my entire layout on another piece of solid cardstock. So I wanna glue these on last. So I'm gonna go off camera and adhere down what I've got, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I've got most everything adhered down. I ended up cutting this in half so that you couldn't see it sticking out on the other side. So I've got this other half and I'm gonna put it over here. And then I went to my stash. At first I was gonna pick a piece of like Kelly green paper to kind of match my photo mat here. But the more that I looked at the paper and I pulled a few different colors to see, the more I liked a navy blue paper kind of to match the color of his tie and kind of pull in the background of that layout. So that's what this is right here. It's just a navy paper for my stash. And then I am gonna put these 3 here. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and gut this paper because I want to be able to use the middle of it possibly on, you know, other layouts this month, since I know it matches the supplies, or at least store what's left of the middle of this paper in with this whole entire kit, since I know it matches. And when I buy cardstock, I often buy it in sheets of 2. That was back from the day when I used to mainly make double page layouts, because this is really old cardstock. I can't even tell you who made it. It probably came out of a paper pad. But I always have it in sets of 2. So I have a second sheet of it, which I'm also gonna store with this kit, just because I know it matches and it's together there. So, oh, and then I'm gonna need to trim off, let's see. I wanna make sure that this is exactly in the center first. And I've got 2 inches there and 2 inches there. It's really centered, guys. I did a pretty good job at centering that apparently. So I'll just trim a little bit off this side, a little bit off this side. And then I want to trim quite a bit off this side. I'm not going to trim any off of this. So I'll just trim a thicker, like a 1/2 inch-ish off that side. And then I can mat my whole entire layout right there. And then I'm gonna come in with glue and glue this word kindergarten. As you notice, there's an F right there in kindergarten. That's because I already used all the T's out of that alphabet, and I'm going to just trim the top of the F off so it reads like a T. I'm gonna kind of like Frankenstein that F into a T. And it doesn't bother me at all to do that. Okay, so I am just gonna come adhere these down. And then after that, I'm gonna adhere these 3 tags. I think I want the yellow one on this side, that one in the middle, and the blue one on this side, because I want that yellow to be kind of far away from the yellow. So I am gonna just trim the same amount off the bottom of all 3 tags, because if I put them all the way on there, they're just a little bit too tall. So I'm just gonna trim a little and go ahead and adhere them just like this. Just like this. And then I can go in with my red baker's twine, like you've seen me do on a lot of other layouts this month. I have tied the little baker's twine into a faux little bow, and I just adhere it right to the top where the hole is in these tags. And then it appears that it's tied through the tags, even though it's not. It's just, I tie a little mini bow first. So I will do one of those on camera for you before I glue down this. I'll do one of the little mini bows on camera for you so you can see what I'm talking about. I just grab some baker's twine, I make 2 loops, and then I tie the loops together almost like a knot. And then I can mess with it and make the loops be really tiny. And when it's like I like it, then I can just cut the tails off and take some fabric glue, which I use Eileen's tacky glue. It's not fabric glue, but it holds the fabric really, or the twine really nicely. And it dries clear. And I'll just tape it in there. So it looks like that little bow is tied right into that tag. So I'm gonna do that to all 3 tags, and I'm going to get my word kindergarten adhered down, and this layout is gonna be done after that. I will keep talking for just a minute while I'm adhering these pieces. If you were inspired by today's layout, whether if it was to use your Gumball and Swizzle Sticks kit to recreate like the exact same layout I made today, or maybe you're just inspired to pull out your kit and work with it, your Gumballs and Swizzle Sticks kit, and work with it, or maybe you were inspired to pull out similar pieces that you have in your stash and recreate this layout using those. Either way, we would love to see it on our Not Just for Boys Kit Club community's Facebook page, and I will link that in the description of this video, along with like everything I used in this video and links to everything. Let's see. If you enjoyed this process video, you might want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as I try to post 8 process videos a month using our current month's kit over at Not Just for Boys. So if you purchase that kit, you can just follow right along with me and create 8 layouts using each month's kit right off the bat, so they don't just sit there in your stash. Let's see. If you like our kits at Not Just for Boys, you can either simply just shop our website and just go pick one up if they're in stock. And we also have a subscription option. If you want to subscribe and just automatically get a kit shipped to you every single month, we have that option too. So, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to show you on this layout is where I will put my journaling. So let me grab my little journaling card. Let me finish doing these letters off camera, and then I will show you where I'll put my journaling. Okay, my journaling. I did not leave a lot of room for my journaling. I probably will not have a lot of journaling though, because this is just a school picture. So I'll probably just have like the year, the name of the school on there. So I'll probably just put it on a couple little journaling strips right in that area, because everywhere else it kind of takes away from the condensedness of this layout. So that's probably where I'll put my journaling. But I am going to go, even though I don't have these bows all on here, they'll be on there in the pictures at the end of my video. Okay guys, I'm back for a second because I was looking at this layout and it just looked really plain with such a thick white border. So I decided to come in with a stamp set and stamp the alphabet over and over and over and over around the border. And this is actually one long stamp that's the alphabet all connected, but as you can see, they like staggered the letters. So if you just had a little alphabet stamp, you could come in here and do it. It would take quite a while, but you could do it. And if you staggered the letters slightly, it wouldn't matter if your stamping was perfectly straight or not, because it would meant to be look staggered like that. So that's just one more idea using alphabet stamps. And if I had thought of it, I could have just stamped it with our alphabet stamps, but I honestly did not think of that until after I used this stamp set. And yeah, so there's that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that added piece, and I think it really makes layout pop now. So thanks guys. Okay, bye.